Welcome to our summary of Turn the Ship Around by L. David Marquet. This book shows how old ways of leading at work often don't bring out the best in employees. Many people start their jobs with excitement and great ideas, but they quickly lose motivation when they realize no one is listening to them. This not only stops new ideas from coming out, but also lowers morale and productivity in the workplace. It's not just employees who feel this frustration. Managers do too. Even leaders who want to give their teams more power find that their workers prefer to stick to clear instructions and resist change. This problem comes from the old leader-follower model that many companies still use. This model, which relies on hierarchy and control, doesn't work well in today's world, where creativity and problem-solving are so important. The leader-follower model doesn't just waste employees' skills, it also works against the idea of real empowerment. When leaders try to empower their teams, they often end up reinforcing the same old hierarchies, which stops people from having more control. The book suggests a big change to a leader-leader model where everyone can be a leader. This approach encourages everyone in the organization to take charge, share their ideas, and lead in their own way. This not only boosts motivation, but also makes the organization more effective and able to adapt to change. The author's experiences in the U.S. Navy inspired this new way of leading. On the USS Santa Fe, he saw how well it worked when people made decisions on their own and took the initiative. But later, on the USS Will Rogers, he faced challenges that made him rethink and improve this approach, leading to the leader-leader model he shares in the book. The book goes deeper into the problems with the old leader-follower model. This model, where leaders give orders and followers obey, might have worked in the past when physical labor or quick decisions were needed. But today, where innovation and creative thinking are key, it gets in the way. One big problem with this model is that it kills creativity and initiative. When people are just following orders, they stop thinking for themselves. This not only lowers morale, but also wastes the talents that employees have, leading to poor results for the company. The book also talks about empowerment programs that try to work within this old model. Even with good intentions, these programs often end up supporting the same hierarchies they're supposed to break down. Empowering employees can feel more like a favor from the leader than something that belongs to everyone. This can lead to distrust and doubt among workers. The author shares his tough experiences on the USS Will Rogers, where his first attempts at empowerment didn't work. The crew, used to following orders, struggled with the idea of having more control. These challenges led the author to rethink old leadership ideas and create a more inclusive and effective model. Turn the Ship Around introduces the leader-leader model as a powerful solution to the common problems of disengagement and wasted potential in many workplaces. Unlike the leader-follower approach, where only the people at the top are seen as leaders, the leader-leader model believes that everyone can lead. This approach encourages everyone, no matter their position, to step up, take initiative, and share their ideas to help the team reach its goals. The book explains many benefits of this model. By using the intelligence and creativity of all employees, not just the managers, the organization works much better. Employees feel more ownership and control over their work, which leads to higher motivation and satisfaction. Also, by spreading leadership roles throughout the company, the workplace becomes stronger and better at handling challenges. This approach turns the old hierarchy into a dynamic group of active leaders all working together. This leadership approach isn't just a theory, it came from the author's real-life experiences. While serving on the USS Will Rogers, he tried to use traditional empowerment ideas within a strict leader-follower structure, but faced strong resistance. The crew, used to following orders, found it hard to take more control and responsibility. This showed how difficult it is to give people more power within a system that naturally limits them, leading to frustration. These challenges taught the author valuable lessons, pushing him to rethink old leadership methods and find a better way. This led to the leader-leader model, not from theory, but from the real demands of leading in tough situations. The amazing turnaround of the USS Santa Fe under the author's command shows how effective this new leadership model can be. The ship, once at the bottom in performance and morale, made a complete comeback within a year. The crew, who were previously disengaged, became energized and deeply involved in the ship's mission. This change not only put the Santa Fe at the top of the fleet's performance charts, but also showed how important it is to create an environment where everyone is encouraged to lead. Even after the author left, the USS Santa Fe continued to succeed, with many crew members being promoted. This showed that the culture of empowerment and shared responsibility had taken root. The continued success of the Santa Fe proves that the leader-leader model doesn't just create short-term improvements. It builds a lasting culture of excellence and independence throughout the organization. The story of the USS Santa Fe isn't just about success. It's a guide for other organizations facing similar problems of disengagement and inefficiency. It clearly shows that real change is possible when you turn a struggling group into a strong, effective team by building a culture of shared leadership and empowerment. This story is both inspiring and practical, offering advice for any organization that wants to achieve long-term success by empowering every member to take charge and lead. To help organizations move away from the old leader-follower approach, the book also provides a detailed framework based on the leader-leader model. This framework is built on 3 key ideas: control, competence, and clarity. Each of these is essential for creating a culture where leadership is shared across all levels, allowing everyone in the organization to take initiative and lead. The leader-leader model focuses on giving everyone more control over decisions and encouraging personal responsibility. One of the key ideas is using "I intend to" statements. This simple change moves people from just following orders to taking charge of their actions, helping them feel more responsible and independent. Instead of relying on old systems that can lead to micromanagement, this model promotes trust, allowing people to manage their own work and come up with new ideas. The model also emphasizes the importance of skills and knowledge. It ensures that everyone knows how to make good decisions and do their jobs well. For example, taking deliberate action means pausing to explain and show what you're about to do. This helps reduce mistakes and improves teamwork. The idea of "we learn" is a big part of this approach, encouraging constant growth and improvement. Moving from simple briefings to making sure team members really understand their roles leads to better engagement and accountability. Clarity is another key part of this model. It's crucial that everyone understands the organization's main goals and values. Instead of just trying to avoid mistakes, the focus is on striving for excellence, which encourages a more ambitious and proactive work environment. Building trust and genuinely caring for team members helps create a loyal and united workforce. Clear guidelines help ensure that decisions are consistent with the organization's goals, and recognizing good behavior right away strengthens a positive work culture. As the book wraps up, it expands the leader-leader model's reach beyond the Navy, suggesting it can work in any type of organization. The principles of this model are universal and can transform any workplace by unlocking the potential of its people. The success story of the USS Santa Fe is used as proof that this model works and isn't just a one-time success, but a clear example of what's possible when everyone is empowered to lead. In the final message, the author speaks to those who feel stuck in the old leader-follower model, which often stifles creativity and enthusiasm. He urges frustrated employees to challenge these outdated norms and look for a leadership style that truly values and empowers them. He also speaks to leaders who are tired of dealing with disengaged teams, encouraging them to try a new approach that focuses on initiative, collaboration, and shared responsibility. The leader-leader model isn't just an idea, it's a practical plan that can change workplaces. The author imagines a workplace where everyone is seen as a valuable contributor with unique skills and insights. This change in thinking not only boosts productivity by giving employees a sense of ownership, but also improves the overall atmosphere, lifting morale and job satisfaction. This model also makes organizations more effective by tapping into the collective intelligence and creativity of everyone. It helps create a more resilient and adaptable organization, better able to handle challenges and change. The benefits of this model go beyond short-term improvements. By building a culture that values continuous learning, innovation, and shared responsibility, it sets the foundation for developing future leaders and ensuring long-term success. This approach doesn't just change leadership practices, it creates a lasting legacy of empowerment and excellence. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring you more insightful book summaries and practical advice. Stay tuned for more content that can help you achieve your goals in leadership and personal growth. Thanks for watching.